Hi guys, welcome back to Math with James. If you got this problem today, then your understanding of functions is going to move up to a whole new level. Let's take a look at the question. X is a real number and then fx is injective. Alright, so basically we talked about a function as a machine, right? So if you throw an apple into the machine and then your machine is going to turn your apple into something, let's say probably like a yellow star. What if we toss a banana into the machine and then the machine also turns the banana into a yellow star? Then this kind of function is not injective. So injective functions, the same input, the same result, but a different input is always going to give you a different result. So the outcomes of the banana and the apple will never be the same. That's basically the concept of injective. Sometimes you might hear people call it monotonic functions, but whatever the name is, it means the same thing. Now, let's go back to the problem. To have a good grasp of the concept of injective functions is going to be the key to solving this problem. All right, so now let me erase it a little bit to make some more space. We have this function which is supposed to be injective, and this whole thing over here is considered to be the input. So the same input would get the same result, which means the input over here will never change, because if this part changes to something else, then the result is not going to stay 1. Backwards, we know this thing over here, fx plus 2 over x, never changes its own value. And we can name it as c, a constant number. Its value doesn't change. We need to find out the value of c. We can isolate fx out, and then fx is equal to c minus 2 over x. All right, we also know that fc is going to be equal to 1. Why? Because this thing is equal to c. So we can replace x with c, right? So fc is also equal to c minus 2 over c. So the x is replaced by c, and this whole thing is going to be equal to 1. We're going to need to solve this equation to find out c. So this function can be basically turned to, so c squared minus 2 is equal to c. Function can be turned to c squared minus c minus 2 is equal to 0. And we can basically factorize the left side. So c minus 2 times c plus 1, and that's equal to 0. So c can be 2 or negative 1. How? Then we can find out the expression for fx over here, because that's a relationship between c and x, and we're going to plug c in. So fx can basically be, let me use another color. So c, that's 2 minus 2 over x, or we can use negative 1 minus 2 over x. All right, it's a little messy over here, but doesn't matter. And then you can find out f1, 2 minus 2 over 1, which is 0. And then the other f1 can be minus 1 minus 2 over 1, right? So that gives you negative 3. So 0 or negative 3, that's the final answer. All right, guys, take it easy. I'll see you guys next time.